This is for all you boomers and Gen Xers out there who have been noticing all this talk about brat for the last 48 hours, but have been maybe a little too embarrassed to ask what it means. So turn up your TV, maybe turn up your hearing aid, because we're about to explain. This all comes from the British pop star Charli XCX, who tweeted on Sunday, soon after President Biden dropped out, "Kamala is brat." Now, Harris and her new campaign immediately embraced the brat summer, and now the internet is awash in green, the color of Charli XCX's Brat album, along with mashups of brat and coconut tree memes. I want you to take a look and know that we're going to explain the coconut thing in a minute.
360, when you're in the mirror, do you like what you see?
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
And everywhere, I'm so Julia.
You exist in the context.
666 with a princess tree. I'm everywhere, I'm so Julia.
Of all in which you live and what came.
Joining me now is senior editor of Glamour magazine, Stephanie McNeil, who wrote a terrific article that caught our attention on this phenomenon. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, if you could just summarize, I mean, I know I just did broadly, but how this has become a thing. And in particular, taking what conservatives tried to use against the vice president, even before she was at the top of the ticket, including that coconut tree thing, which is, I will tell our viewers, if you didn't already know, she was telling a story about something that her mother used to tell her and her sister about, you didn't just fall out of a coconut tree. And a lot of people thought that was extremely weird. And now this is being embraced plus plus.
I think that people just turned their minds and they started to embrace her weirdness, because I think that, I don't know, I think like politics can be, no offense everyone, kind of boring, and I think people thought that it was just kind of funny and it was a funny anecdote, and I don't know, they started to make what the internet calls fan cams of her, just saying it over and over and over again. And I think as kind of this rumbling started that Joe Biden might drop out, people started to be like, yeah, why not? Why not the coconut tree lady? And it just kind of snowballed out of control from there, I think.
You know, and Stephanie, we have been talking so much about how on the other side of the aisle, we have seen a lot of younger conservatives use not just social media, but in particular the algorithms in social media to get into the feeds of maybe unsuspecting or apolitical people. And my question for you is this now a way to get in to those young people on the other side of the aisle?
I think absolutely, because I think the number one thing that I've noticed is people are actually talking about the election, and they're talking about it in a positive way. People seem excited. They seem like they're paying attention. They're energized. And young people especially were not energized at all. We all know this by the Biden-Trump mashup. So I have really seen a huge tide turn. And I think one thing that is interesting to remember is I think people like to say, oh, you know, you write about internet culture, or you know about internet culture. But I think that that's kind of a misnomer, because the internet is culture. The internet's more of a mirror that's reflecting back to us what we're thinking, what we're, you know, wondering about, what we think is funny. And so I think it sounds kind of crazy to be like, well, memes win the election, but like, I actually think it might be true.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a reason why the Biden campaign tried to clip some of his moments and send them out, because they understand that that is how particularly young people consume information. The fact that it's happening organically and the now Harris campaign is jumping on it is just fascinating. Please come back. I appreciate it. I encourage everybody to read Stephanie's piece on glamour.com. Thanks, Stephanie.